Fandom Family Chats. I am your host, Maureen, and tonight we are joined with Jeanette.
Hello.
And Amanda.
Hello.
And Josh.
Hey.
And Bethany.
Hi.
And tonight's episode is a Residents podcast. We are talking all things Conrad Hawkins. And by the way, it's not like we just thought, you know what? We really dig this dude. We're going to talk about him. We did a poll in the group, and this is who you guys want to hear about. We are not complaining at all.
We do really dig this dude. So
Yes.
it's okay.
I mean, we all thought Conrad would win? So
Yeah. Well, I honestly thought AJ was going to be up there, but I think we forgot to put him on the poll.
We did.
And then she couldn't edit it. So
yeah, we tried figuring it all out, how to edit it, but
everybody had already voted. So we were like,
And Conrad had the most votes by far of anyone on there.
next time we will
90%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time we'll add AJ and Mina both.
right.
Oh yeah.
So I watch, I don't know if you guys have, I think I've shared this with you guys, but the Dr. Mike show on YouTube, he's got a YouTube channel and he reviews medical shows.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's an actual doctor who, amongst other things, but one of the things he does, he's really funny. He's really entertaining. One of the things he does is he reviews medical shows, and The Resident was one that he reviewed. And it was the very first scene, the very first season when Conrad confronts Devin. He's like, you do ask no questions. You do what I say, no questions asked. That's what it is. I can make your life or I can kill your life or something along those lines. And Dr. Mike paused and he went, okay, that doesn't really happen like that.
Well, of course not.
But if you guys have a chance, watch The Resident one. It's really funny.
I think
But-
that would depend on the hospital too, though.
Mhm. Yeah.
True.
I've never seen that. I'm going to look that up, Dr. Mike.
I think I've
We'll have to
seen
look it
it.
up.
It's been a long time though. Like I watched it back when we first started the group, I think.
Yeah.
I've really gotten into medical shows, and I really like The Resident a lot.
Mhm.
I started watching some of the other ones, and it's just like it's almost kind of like, you know how you get your niche show, and it's like, okay, this is the baseline, and then you judge everything else by that. That's what's happened with The Resident. So,
Mhm.
See, mine's Grey's Anatomy. I base all my medical shows on Grey's Anatomy.
I saw the first 3 episodes of that, believe it or not, today. So
Ooh.
yeah, it was interesting. So
What I like about The Resident is that it has, yes, it does have the relationships, but it's more about like the corporation of a hospital. And I like
Yeah.
that spin
yeah,
because you get
Yeah.
a lot of like, I'm a Scrubs fan. I love Scrubs.
Mhm.
And so they talk a lot about, how the chief of medicine or the chief of the hospital, how he run it through insurance, everything, bill insurance for everything.
Mhm.
But it's like jokey. In this, it's actually exploring not just the corporate hospital aspect, but it also goes through the corruption that can happen when too many people have power, or like with Lane Hunter, the
Right.
money that she had for that grant to run that, how corrupt she became. I guarantee you she didn't start that way. And I
Right.
like that aspect of it. I don't like that it's like, yes, we get Conrad and Nick, we get Devin and his gals, and AJ and Mina, we like that, but that's not what the show is about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the reason I like this show so much is because of what Conrad brings to the table, because I like it when Conrad fights the big bad.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
and
we
when I
all-
first started watching it, it was kind of like, The Resident, and you think like the show's going to completely revolve around Conrad, right? It's like the first couple episodes, and
Mhm.
that's what I was thinking I was getting into. And then it just starts expanding, and it's just this whole world. And I'm like, okay, cool. He's still at the center of it, I think, for the most part. He's
Yeah.
the lead character, if you ask me. I think, maybe other people might have, other thoughts, but it really did. It was almost like it just expanded around him,
Yeah.
the rest of this world.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
agree with that.
And they made Conrad this ideal doctor who, but you also see the problems with that ideal doctor, the doctor who cares about his patients above all else. But then you have that scene where Devin saves his first patient, and Conrad's like, congratulations, you just made a vegetable. And then
Yeah.
tries to shut off the machine when no one's looking. So you see how Conrad is the ideal doctor. I mean, when I think about going to a doctor, and it's not just because it's Matt Zuckery and I have a soft spot for Logan Huntsberger. It has nothing to do with that.
Sure.
A little bit.
I would like my doctor to be good looking, but that's not really high on my list of priorities
Yeah,
when I
no,
go
I
into
know.
a doctor. But what I want is a doctor like Conrad who's going to fight to find out what's wrong with me, who's going to fight
Speak for
tooth and nail
yourself.
to make sure that I stay safe, that I am safe. But also, I would like a doctor who's not going to turn off my life support
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
just because he thinks my quality won't be good enough.
Right.
So there's that balance that they gave Conrad, and I think it was brilliant writing to make him both sides of that coin. Like, yes, this is a really good thing, but it can also be a scary thing.
Mhm.
Right.
Absolutely.
I think doctors quickly get a God complex, very, very quickly, but yeah, you do need that grounding, but it also does take somebody who is very full of gusto and isn't gonna like hesitate on making a decision in a split second, because that could
Right.
make or break or save somebody's life, one way or the other, or make more vegetables.
Yeah. I think there was a scene, and you'll probably remember the scene before I do, and I can't remember which episode it was, but they were talking about how, we need Conrad Hawkins to be the doctor on this. Oh, I think it was when he wasn't with the hospital at
You're
that
talking
time.
about my favorite scene.
Talking about your favorite scene. Well, take it away, Maureen. You can tell it better than I can, but that's just,
It's the one where Belle and AJ had the patient, right? That they couldn't figure out what was
Yeah.
wrong with him.
Yes.
And then it was AJ and Belle who are the arrogant surgeons and
yes.
have both, well, I don't know if AJ clashed so much with Conrad. I think AJ admired Conrad from the beginning, but Belle certainly clashed with Conrad.
Right.
And they're sitting there going, you know who we got to call, right? Yeah, I know. Let's see if we can figure it out. We can do this. We're surgeons. We can do this.
Yeah.
And about a minute goes by and they're like, yeah, I got nothing. We got to call Conrad.
Right.
And then they keep
exactly.
meeting Conrad in the cafe, and Conrad is kind of frustrated. He's like, I can't do it. I give up. And then Devin comes in and gives him a pep talk about Conrad. I know doesn't give up. He doesn't stop. That's who I know is Conrad. And then they say something just right, and Conrad does that little and looks at him with this big, how he does where he's almost like squints his eyes and he slow turns with a smirk to look at who he's talking to.
That's Logan
I
Huntsberger.
was gonna say that's the Huntsberger sleeping through.
He Huntsbergered it.
That's when Belle said, I know that look. And AJ went, that's a good look. And then Conrad told him what the problem was. And that happened to be what the problem is.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I think that scene is like Conrad in a nutshell. It's so cool to see that. Or the Huntsberger in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorite things about his character is the fight in him.
Right. Well, especially too when that criminal that they brought in, and he had it was a husband and a father that he had kidnapped.
Mhm.
And it's like, tell me where he's at, and he was, it was like, that was military Conrad kicking in, he wasn't gonna let, the innocent. Yeah, it was a pretty big scene. And I remember I happened to walk out of the room and I missed like part of it, but it was just like so impactful that I still was able to like get the whole thing, even like actually missing part of it when I first saw it. And to see that, it was like his comeback kind of went back in. And of course, Devin didn't see eye to eye on that situation, but to just,
like normal.
Exactly. Normal Conrad and Devin.
What's so funny is because I never disagree with Conrad, because I agree. I love the fight he puts in. That scene, I was like totally on Devin's side with the way that was handled. I don't know. I just remember being like, I feel like I was in the minority, that I was like, no, Conrad, that's not like, you're a doctor. Like, but I see it as a person why he was
I
wanting
think it was
to
very
do that.
unrealistic to me. It seemed like it was very much of a, if you're trying to view it from like a real world perspective,
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure things would have happened a lot different. But seeing like, the new Fox show and this is what's happening, then it kind of made more sense. It definitely was something that you'd see on primetime TV versus you would hope.
But I think you had a point though when you said
Depends
that
on
was
the
military Conrad
Again.
coming out.
Yeah, I never thought about it being military Conrad, but yeah, I think that's
Yeah, that's
exactly
true.
what
Maybe it wasn't military.
No, I think it
Conrad.
was.
I think it was.
makes sense to
You
me.
think so?
Mhm.
I think the gusto came from the same, the same gusto that sent him to, to fight is the same gusto that sent him to fight in this situation. Maybe I don't know.
That actually makes me look at it differently, and I don't know. It makes more sense that way.
I mean, there's not as many rules when you're interrogating to find
Right.
someone in the military. They like to think there is. They like to tell us there is, but
No Hippocratic oath.
there's no nothing that binds
well,
them
like I said, in
from-
my defense, I happened to coincidentally walk out of the room right when that scene was happening, so I didn't get the full scene
No, but I
when I
think you're
first
right.
saw it.
I
So
think you're right though.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's exactly what it was. Because there are moments when military Conrad pops out.
Mhm.
right.
And
Yeah.
I think it's a switch he switches intentionally. So he has an excuse to check off of being a regular everyday doctor. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
nope,
Yeah.
this has got to get done. So I'm going to turn this switch now. And this is how we're going to handle this.
Right.
Yeah.
I think so. I agree with that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of military Conrad still that seeps out into I think his everyday actions. I think I know. I mean, I've never been in the military, but I know people who have been in the military, and it's kind of hard to turn it off. Once
Yeah.
you're out. But at the same time, it's just it's a new way of thinking and a new way of analyzing things that are coming to you.
Yeah.
And I think that's why some of them do actually make good medical team.
Mhm.
Doctors and nurses, etc.
Mhm.
Because they're looking at things in a very analytical way versus in
And
an
they have to be
emotional-
fast.
and they're fast.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're a military doctor, you have to, especially if you're in a combat military doctor, which I think
Mhm.
Conrad was.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of fighting, and if you do not act fast, if you are unable to think on your feet, you're going to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you've got to be creative, which he is a
Mhm.
lot of times too. So
He was a medical corpsman.
Was there? Well, was it when there was a blackout or something, and they were like doing triage in the dark? In
The
hospital?
tornado. Or
Tornado.
hurricane, whatever it was. Yeah.
yeah, it was tornado.
Was
Yeah,
that the
he
tornado?
was-
Because it wasn't that.
I don't think it was that. I don't
No,
know.
I think it was before that. Tornado
there
was just
was
this
a
last
black-
season.
Wasn't there a blizzard at some point too, or something?
in Georgia.
I
Yeah.
feel like there was an episode with
There
something
was.
because-
That was everyone's reaction.
because
Hey.
I think that really happened. Like
I'm in
once. There was,
Texas and
like-
we had 11 inches of snow and it was -6 outside. So yeah, we get blizzards in Georgia.
And guess what?
Point in
That's
living in the
that's
south if you have
devastating.
negative temperatures and snow.
Yeah.
it doesn't
yeah.
happen often, but when it does, it completely shuts us down. Is
Oh,
the
yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
So,
I laugh when it's like Texas schools closed, half an inch of snow on the ground. Like,
I know. I was gonna say all the Southerners and that one Northerner's like, this is like 6 months out of our year.
dude, the snow's up to my knees, and we were still not allowed an excused absence. You can do this.
you all have like your cars are
It's
prepared
because
for these
your
things.
cars are prepared for it. Your
We can't
roads are
drive
made
it.
for it. Ours, we don't
Our
have like,
cars
snow
are not, but
tires.
our roads are.
Yeah.
Well,
Our
maybe
our
roads
roads
don't do
are.
anything different new.
We always run out of
Yes,
salt.
Snow
because
tires and stuff.
That's
Like nobody's prepared for this.
very few people get snow tires.
Oh, I thought that was
Really?
like everybody got them.
I
thought it
assumed
was,
everyone
Yeah,
had
see me too. I thought
I've
that.
never once changed my tires for the weather. Not ever.
That's what we think of Northerners. We think you know, like snow tires and like snow
Yeah.
You
plows.
guys are
and
so
stuff.
intelligent and prepared, and every day is doomsday for you.
I thought you guys just had like a spare set of tires.
I did
No,
too.
no, we don't. Sometimes
Bring
we
out
don't
the
even have a
change.
spare in our trunk. Come on now.
We're all having like this epiphany.
Oh.
But I think that
Maybe
might have
it
been
is
what
just
it
that.
was the blizzard shut them down because the whole hospital, there was no destruction of the hospital. It was just their power had gone out and they were waiting for generators to come on. And I remember they'd set up these huge poles with sheets that they put up. And it was Belle and Conrad trying to do triage, and it was
I
in the
know what you-
lobby.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was when they were hacked by one of
That's
their
right.
That's right.
one of the patients. She actually
Yeah.
hacked. She
I
she
remember that
faked an
now.
illness.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
her big sister brought her in, and she faked an illness just to get in, and she was pretending she was texting on her phone, but in reality she was hacking the
In their
hospital,
servers.
and she
Mhm.
was in their servers, and so she cut off all of their power and everything.
What
and then
was
that-
her goal in that?
She had resentment.
Medical
I
bills.
can't remember exactly what it was. It had something to do with, I think she
Medical
was
bills.
treated.
Yeah.
Medical bills. I think that's what it was. Her sister was not able to go to college because they used her college money to pay for the medical bills. So that was her retaliation against the hospital. She held the hospital responsible for keeping her sister from going to college.
But if I remember right, she was just trying to attack the billing system and wipe
Mhm.
everybody's bills out, and accidentally took out
Oh, okay.
the power.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was. That's right. She was trying to. That's right. She was trying to forgive everybody's medical bills. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what it was. So she didn't want other families to be in their same position, not realizing that she was putting, other patients in danger. And that's when Nick walked into her hospital room, and explained to her like what kind of danger that she was causing and people's lives are at risk. And so that's when she, realized that she was doing a very bad thing.
And that was one of my favorite Conrad scenes because of how quickly he thought on his feet. And there was even a couple moments when Belle was like, we can't do this. We're not ready for this. And Conrad was like, we have no other choice. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
And I like when Conrad forces the other doctors to think outside their box.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of doctors on the show. Of course, they're fake. They're not real. I understand that they are not real people. But
They're not.
they are more capable than they give themselves credit for because they try to stay within the bounds of a hospital box. And Conrad almost never operates in a hospital box.
No.
Conrad likes to stand outside and shout things into their boxes. And I like that about him.
Yeah, and I think that triage setup and that that makeshift surgical room and everything like that. That was back to military Conrad.
Exactly.
That's
what I liked about him.
Let's MacGyver this thing together and get it done.
I was just about to say, I think that, Conrad's kind of like the MacGyver of Chastain, I think.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. But my favorite Conrads are military Conrad and when Conrad makes his voice dip really, really low.
Oh, yeah.
It's like almost a whisper. Because then he's mad. And then that a really fun Conrad's about to come out to play. And that's my favorite. That's how they ended the last season when he got right up in that Big Pharma. I'm so excited for the fight against Big Pharma. So excited about that. He got right up in his face and he was talking through his teeth. I was like, there he is. We've missed you for a year. There you are.
I know all year we didn't really get that Conrad and I missed him.
I know season 4 was not some of your favorite, Conrad.
No, it was not.
I believe the word boring was thrown out.
Oh,
maybe.
That was funny. Yeah.
Yes, I know.
uh-oh.
Sorry.
I agree. But I mean, I don't think it's going to be like that every season.
No.
And it kind of gave the other characters in the show, some time to shine.
Because AJ has shown this past season, like he was bright light.
Yeah, 4 was definitely his season.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I hope, because I love Conrad so much, I hope that when he returns to fighting Conrad, that the others don't dim. I hope that they stay kind of at the same level. Because I think Conrad in this coming season is going to utilize AJ a lot in this fight, because I think it's a fight AJ wants to get into.
Yeah.
And I think Devin, having gone from ER to internal medicine, and how do you remember that episode? I know it's a Conrad talk, but do you remember the episode when Devin was running shifts in ER and internal medicine, and there was that one person who got left in a hallway because she had to get ejected from ER, and then internal medicine refused to take her, and Devin found a workaround.
Yeah.
I think Devin is ready to join this fight. I mean, look at all the things Devin's gone through and all the people he's lost because of stuff like this. So I think that maybe Conrad was quiet this last season to build the team to go fight. Because I think Emily Van Camp might have a lesser role as she takes care of Robot Baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And Real Baby too,
And
right?
Real Baby now.
yes,
And
Real
Real
Baby.
Baby.
Yes.
Oh.
Congratulations, Emily.
Yes.
I was
She
just
just
gonna
had her, what,
instinctively
today
say
or
she's
yesterday?
beautiful, but I haven't seen the picture of baby, so I don't. That would just been instinct to say she's beautiful.
She is beautiful.
Oh, I'm sure she is. Even though
Was
you
there a
haven't seen
picture of
it.
her somewhere?
No,
Oh,
I just know she's
All
beautiful.
babies are beautiful, so you can.
Okay, let's simmer down here.
have you watched Gilmore Girls,
Well.
Bethany?
I've seen some ugly babies. I'm sorry.
Do you remember the Gilmore Girls episode when they had the Christmas cards, Bethany?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Poor baby.
Well, yeah.
I'm sorry, but and also I will
I'm one
say
of those
those
naive
babies.
people that Rory was feeling bad for.
Ugly babies usually grow up to be the prettiest of people. So
Oh,
it's
Inside and out. It just felt like it needed appropriate cheese. Sorry.
yeah.
Haven't you ever gone to like your pediatrician's office and you're like looking at the wall and like all the
No.
babies they've delivered?
See,
And you're
now
like,
I love my kids. I would die for my kids. I love to snuggle my kids. I like to cuddle my kids. But there are people who are like, you want to hold my baby? Nope, I'm good. I don't need to look at your baby. I don't need to touch your baby. I'm really okay
No.
not doing any of that
No.
stuff.
I'm that person that like sits at
want
the
the-
party and like holds the babies.
Yes, me too.
That is not me.
I love it. I love
I have
it.
2 godchildren, and when they were babies, my friend was like, "Do you want to hold them?" Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See,
Yeah,
that's
Sure do.
my husband because they're always like, David, do you want to? No.
No.
I mean, he's like, no, I'm good. Like he loves his kids, but he's not really fond of anybody else's.
That's kind of like I like your kids,
And I'm
they're
like,
cute.
give me all the
acknowledge it.
babies. I love it.
Aw.
Yes, I
Oh
just-
yeah.
It makes you wonder how fast they are going to time jump though, because there's some shows where like there's an infant and then they stay an infant for a long time, and then there's some shows where they have a baby and when they come back the kid's already like almost a toddler, not quite. And I think they do that because this is a little bit easier to have like a child that's older on set.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they're going to do that here. I know I mean, with COVID and everything, I know they were saying that that was one of the primary reasons why they had
Mhm.
Robot Baby, because nobody
Mhm.
wanted to have their real baby on set. So it just kind of makes you wonder, like, where they're going to go with that, and like, when are we going to see,
Yeah.
you know, an actual child portraying them, or you know, how often are we going to even get screen time of the baby?
Maybe she'll just always be in the hospital nursery. We'll probably never
Right.
see her, you know. I mean,
Exactly, for like 2 or 3 seasons, and then suddenly, you know,
Well,
like
it'll be
the
like,
one
you
Christmas
know,
episode.
No, I saw a
Cute.
picture of Devin holding a baby.
Yeah, I
Oh,
saw that too.
oh,
But in
Do
the
you think-
trailer, Conrad is holding a baby and the baby's up here and it's like moving around.
so maybe for this season they already have a real baby.
Yeah,
That would
And the
actually-
baby, like
didn't look
Devin was holding, looked older, but
real.
it also could be a patient. I
Could be.
mean,
That's
Right.
true.
The baby in the
everybody
trailer
thinks
of Conrad holding the baby, I believe, was his baby, but it didn't look real still, but it looked more real than it did when it was weird.
let me try to find that picture.
This
And
one was a
that's not the-
puppet
Look at the
versus
trailer
robot.
for season 5. The trailer for season 5 has Conrad holding the baby. But I mean, the nursery is a possibility because when Nick
Right.
goes back to work, I'm sure the hospital has a daycare of sorts
Mhm.
set up. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's very possible.
Like
I
Grey's
would love
Anatomy
Conrad
did.
home.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I see Conrad as the kind of dad that's gonna have the kid like there, like once he's old enough to
Doing
hold by
rounds
the
with
hand.
him.
Yeah, no, seriously,
pretty
I could
much.
see that. He's like, and somebody comes in coding, and he's like, "Stay there." Runs off.
I mean, you look at
Remember
Chastain's
that.
track record for killing people and doing things they shouldn't do. I'd want my baby to hang out with me too.
Yeah, it's
Aw.
true.
Speaking of, I'm gonna bring up one of the in our group, one of the favorite scenes because I want to talk about this scene. Not that one. Okay, so Karen Whistler said one of my favorites is how hard he tried to save Lily when he climbed up on top of her. My own heart was wrenching for him. Such an intense scene, which is such an intense method actor. He makes us all believe he's really a doctor.
Yeah.
And do you remember that scene
I
when
do.
it was after Lane Hunter had slipped her more drugs than her body could handle and she died? And
Yeah.
Conrad they were all telling him to get off. Conrad, get off. She's done. And he wouldn't stop. That was like, I think I cried through a lot of the first season because it was
Yeah.
a lot of Conrad having to painfully watch people die. It felt
Mhm.
like in the first season. And I thought he did that really, really well. And she was one of the first patients he had that he protected
Mhm.
that really, like, I already liked him because, I mean, honestly, the reason I started watching The Residents because,
It's
Logan
absolutely
Huntsberger, I'm going to start watching this. So,
Yeah,
I mean, I was
same.
already liking him, but it was his relationship with Lily that
Yeah.
really made me cemented of,
Mhm.
I will never not like this man. He could do whatever he
Yeah.
wants. I will never not like this man.
To me, that was where military Conrad and emotional Conrad just kind of collided and
Mhm.
became
Mhm.
because I think to him in some form it was a failed mission. He knew what was
Absolutely.
going on with Hunter. He knew all of that, but he couldn't do anything about it. And he lost that. But at the same time, it was just that raw emotion at the
Mhm.
same.
She was his friend.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the fact that he had Nick, who he did love and care for, saying, this was not me. This was not me. And there was all the evidence was pointing to her. And it was hard for him to reconcile between his mentor, which I don't know why an oncologist was his mentor, because he's not in oncology. and he had no desire to even go in that direction. So I never really, of course, we walk into at the end of the relationship, because at the end of episode or season 1, Lane Hunter is done in the greatest active betrayal I've ever seen on a TV show. I love it. But that relationship never made full sense to me of why Conrad so blindly believed everything Lane Hunter had to say.
Yeah.
And he did. He blindly believed everything she said against everyone else. So I was wondering what that backstory is and how he came to revere her the way he did. Because we aren't given that understanding. We just jump right into the middle of him in awe of her.
I can imagine she wasn't always the person we saw on screen.
Oh,
You know
I
what
don't think so
mean? Like,
either.
there had to been some sort of evolution, some sort of catalyst. Maybe it was the money that brought her to be this evil, character. But maybe at the time, when they first started working together, they weren't that way. And that how do I say that blinds people? Or maybe you think about it, you don't see them as they are now, you see them as you think they are or knew how they were before they were changed.
I guess for me, Conrad was always supposed to be smarter than that.
Yeah.
I hold him to a really, really high standard, though. If you can figure out these weird things and you can tell someone is lying based off an expression on their face, and you have all these innate intuition abilities, and he's got a lot of those. He has a lot of really good intuition and really, really excellent gut instincts that almost never lead him wrong. That couldn't believe Lane over anybody else. And Nick was the only one who he started to side with, but even that took a while to side with Lane or to side with Nick over Lane.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was, if I could give Conrad a fault, that was his one fault right there.
Yeah.
It was just how much he just blindly followed her. So do you guys have any favorite Conrad scenes? I already said mine was the finding the diagnosis.
What I mean, I don't know if it's specifically a scene, but one of my favorite storylines was with the little boy. I guess it was in season 2. And I don't know, just the way he cared for him, and like
the one who had the heart issue.
The germ.
Yeah.
And all that he did for him while he was around, and then even afterwards taking care of like his brother and stuff. That was just I remember like that was so emotional. Like I had to take a break for like a few weeks after those episodes, because I was like, I can't watch anymore right now. Like I've got to.
The older brother died, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that was hard.
dying.
And he took that really hard. What,
Yeah.
Amanda?
Didn't they both end up dying
Little one didn't.
eventually?
I think they ended up saving him. I think it was like
Yeah.
a last ditch. Conrad was able to kind of come
With the-
through.
He pulled
Okay.
strings, and when he did something he wasn't supposed to get the system to work to give him a transplant, I think
Okay.
is what happened.
I need to rewatch, man.
That was
Yeah, it's
another
been a
argument
long
he had with
time.
Belle.
Yeah.
Belle's like,
Right.
you can't just decide who gets top priority in patients.
Yeah.
And then I think it was the issue of, because it was someone who had money and this boy, and Conrad's like, that's a 70-year-old man who's going to die soon. And this is a young boy who has a whole life ahead of him.
Which makes sense.
Mhm.
But when they made that whole like police car and stuff for him to like go, I was like, oh my gosh, like
Yes.
The
is there a
germ.
more perfect person? Like that was just so sweet that he took the time to do that.
Mhm.
Like I hope there are really doctors out there like that. I don't know if there really are,
There
but I
are.
really hope that
I'm sure there are, but
there is.
it's incredible to see that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Conrad and the boy's mom, they had a history, right? I
Mhm.
think. Okay.
I think
I
just
don't know if it was
medically.
romantic though, but they did have a history.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just medically because her son was
He had been there
Sick.
for a while,
Yeah.
right?
And I think it was
I thought it was Conrad
Hey.
knew his dad, wasn't it?
what
Didn't Conrad know the boy's father?
I don't
I'm
know
not
about
sure.
that. I
I'm
don't
trying to
remember that
remember too,
part.
because I know that there was more to it than just a patient off the street, if I remember.
Yeah, they
correctly.
went to Conrad because they knew him.
Mhm.
Maybe that's what it was. And I know it almost looked like it was heading towards something romantic, but that was
Mhm.
probably just from the time that they were spending together.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
think so.
yeah.
That's the other thing I like about the show, is that not every patient-doctor relationship ended in like romance.
Yeah.
Like not every girl that he talked to was he romantically involved in.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, we
I'm
only
like
really see
Logan
romantically.
Huntsberger.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to.
Now, the only one for Logan was Rory. Thank you.
You should have told Logan that.
I was just gonna say, did somebody tell that to Logan?
Now,
He
now.
knew.
I'm gonna get kicked off
He
this
just
chat.
had
I'm
to
sorry.
meet Rory
We're gonna have to
first.
mute Josh over here.
We're just gonna see a screen go black.
It's like, where did Josh go?
We can't hear you.
Sorry.
But he I think the only one he was really involved with the whole show was Nick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
From even the very first episode, he's in a closet with her, and then she's
Was
There
the
was
first
that one
episode?
other nurse. There was a nurse, like just for a minute, wasn't there? There was another nurse. I feel like.
I
Did
don't
he
know.
like his? I
He
swear
may
there
not
was
have
one-
had a relationship with
No,
her,
I think it
though.
was just the first season, but I feel like there was like a
I don't
something
remember
else.
that at all.
I swear. Maybe I made that up, but I don't think so.
Maybe Jeanette, you and I
remember.
maybe need to do a rewatch.
Maybe I'm confusing it with Grey's Anatomy. I don't know.
Time for a rewatch.
I know, right?
Well, I know
Also-
that Nick had, previous boyfriends and other interests, and so maybe that's where it came from, because I know there were moments where, even in season 1,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
She
there
dated
were-
Conrad's friend for like a week or so.
Yes. Look.
right.
Okay. So he had his ex-fiance, which I remember hearing about that. Like,
How have I blocked that out so completely?
is there some story? Because there's some story about like it was somebody from like his childhood, and Noni Turner, which was a fling rebound from Nick. She was a nurse. I knew I didn't make it up. Hold on, I'm gonna show you what she looks like. Oh, look who
We've
it
all
is,
forgotten
Amanda.
about that.
Look who it is
Oh.
from Outer Banks.
Hey.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah.
Why did I forget
Yes.
that whole storyline?
I don't remember that either.
It's in the first season. It's super
It's called
vast,
selective
like-
memory.
It is.
And I think they just hook up once in like a supply closet or something. Like I don't think it's like something.
Conrad and Nick are so pure, it's hard for me to imagine Conrad with anybody else. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what the problem is. So does
Anyone
anybody else
knew about? It was always just the two of them forever. That's all it's always been.
does anybody else have a favorite scene or storyline of Conrad's?
I don't think have like a specific scene, but my favorite Conrad moments are whenever he's like on the search and rescue team.
Oh,
When he's like, or like at the concert helping. Like I like seeing him
outside the hospital.
outside the hospital, but doing medical things,
Mhm.
like that. That's every time I get to see him like that, that's
Mhm.
my favorite.
There was that episode where and this is not a medical thing, but it's outside the hospital, when he took his friend who was a patient, or I think he became a friend as he was his patient, and he wanted to do zero gravity. And
Oh, yeah.
Conrad
Oh,
wanted to
that's a
go
great
do
episode.
zero gravity with him.
Mhm.
That was great. I love that. That's what Conrad. That's what he's about. That's what he does.
I love that episode. And it was like everybody's like, oh well, that guy's gonna die in the plane. It's like we already, it's like, yeah, you're leading up to, it's like, well, we're not that stupid. Of course we get what's gonna happen here.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't even him, it was the other guy,
The healthy guy.
the healthy guy. And it was like,
It's like, what?
Yeah, that one was a twist.
Yeah.
I didn't see that
Right.
coming.
I think everybody, just assumed. Wait a minute.
I like how many opportunities they afford Conrad to do that kind of work outside the
Mhm.
hospital, because I think they know that we really like seeing the shocking and the prepared and the quick thinking Conrad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when in last season, when Nick was about to go home, and I don't remember if it was her first day of maternity leave, but they went to go see that patient who hadn't come in and kept canceling his
Mhm.
visits.
Mm-hmm.
Even in that moment, Conrad and Nick were off the clock, and they went to his house. They helped him. They had to do something with him. So
Yeah.
even that was a good episode.
That's why. Have any of you guys seen The Good Doctor?
Yes.
I've seen a few seasons.
I'm familiar with it.
I love The Good Doctor, and
Mm-hmm. The
One of
very
the
first
first-
episode when that person collapses in the lobby.
that's exactly what I was thinking of.
Oh,
I was like,
don't
just like
remember that.
I like scenes like that,
Mhm.
like quick thinking,
Mhm.
like
Not normal
taking stuff,
objects.
like taking a pen and a straw, and like I like that kind of stuff. That's
MacGyver.
yeah, that's cool.
That's exactly what they are. They're MacGyver doctors.
We should have a new category of just MacGyver doctors.
Conrad would be in there at the top of the list.
There you go.
I also like Conrad when his dad comes back, and obviously Conrad at first is like, nope, this is not happening. This is not something that we're gonna do. And then I don't remember what scene it was that made them connect again, but that very first hug that Conrad and Marshall shared was just like, oh my goodness. And it was so because Conrad he's so righteous, and he's so in this is right and this is wrong, and that's all there is my way, and that's it. And to see how hard he fought that, and he fought it because he was afraid of what his dad was going to do to him if he let him in. And because he's been down that road before, he already knows how much his dad can hurt him and how much potential there is for really deep pain and getting screwed over by his dad. So that moment where they hugged for the first time and Conrad was fully letting his guard down and letting his dad in was so, so beautiful and so emotional. And I love their storyline specifically. I love a good redemptive arc, and you see that in Marshall and Conrad for sure.
Yeah.
Like when his dad comes in with the kidney or the whatever issue is wrong with him, is it the Crohn's or something like that?
The Crohn's,
yeah.
I think.
Crohn's
Yeah, I
disease,
think so.
And he's like, I want to see my doctor. And Conrad's like, I'm your doctor now.
But
No, but I have another doctor.
nope,
Nope, just me.
not anymore.
Aw.
Just me.
I mean, honestly, would you want a different doctor?
No.
I suppose
In that
as,
hospital,
as,
probably not.
Not
as
in
your
that
dad, there's a potential for emotional entanglement. And I guess
Right.
that's probably something, but
That's
Yeah.
usually something they try to steer clear of, but sometimes it can't be helped.
when you have an issue that's uncertain, Conrad is the only doctor you want working on that case.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I think my favorite Conrad moment is still, I think we talked about this in one of the other episodes, was when they were at the bar and that guy assaulted Nick,
Mm.
Oh yeah.
and he
I love
just switched like a light bulb, and it was just like, okay,
He was like,
this
nope,
guy's got about 10 seconds to live. you know,
it, right?
that guy
Hey.
just died. He didn't
That was
know it, but he
awesome.
died.
Nobody to, I mean, I know she was really mad at him for that, but it was still just one of my favorite episodes, just because it was just like he was very protective, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And it was just like a light bulb. It was just there it is, you know, and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he was ready to go and on to protect her and go from there. That's back
You
to
love when it gets
military
like that.
Conrad, but you
I
know,
Oh,
love
yeah,
it.
absolutely.
I like that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
kind of forgot about that moment until you just said it.
And I think because it was a flashback too, so like it wasn't even happening in real time of watching the
Yeah.
show. It was like when they were, from before. Yeah, that was hilarious.
What about you, Bethany? Do you have a favorite Conrad scene?
I've been racking my mind this whole time we've been sitting here, and I'm trying to think like what is my favorite, and I thought it would just come to me like it would just there it is, right? It's hard to say exact moments because I think we've kind of covered all different ones that are good. It's hard to pick just one, but obviously, I mean, Jeanette had a good one there with the germ. I mean, obviously the Lily moments. I mean, it's hard to pick like just one when he just I think I just like him with Nick though. When he's Conrad and he he's a fighter, but then it's also I just like or even with his dad, as you were mentioning right now too, when you see that sensitive side of him, and it's he's gonna get the job done, but he's also he's gonna do it lovingly as well. So I don't know. It's hard. I was thinking all this time that I would be able to land on a favorite moment, but I think just when he kind of swoops in and does the Conrad thing, it's
Yeah.
I like seeing him with his family, and obviously the scenes that we already mentioned, but
Yeah.
I
I agree with that. And speaking of with his family, that one episode when Nick got stabbed and she was pregnant
oh
and she had to go through the surgery.
Oh
And
yeah.
Conrad was in that viewing room,
Mhm.
freaking like trying so hard to not freak out, but absolutely freaking out.
right.
Mhm.
That was, I think I just really like watching Matt Zucri just kind of disappear into his character.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
think
Conrad.
because he is that what our one member said, he's a good method actor. I don't know that I call him a method actor, but he has a really, really, really excellent ability to convey emotion doing very little.
Mhm.
Yep.
My sweet spot, and I will shout this to the rooftops, and I say it in every podcast, is nonverbal. And he is so good at that. And when he hits an emotion as whatever character he's playing, it is super, super, super prevalent. And when Nick was in the hospital getting surgery after that, not only was it his wife, but his child was on the line. The emotion that he conveyed without saying a word was like, it almost makes you want to stop breathing. Like it just kind of like took your breath away for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
in
think
the eyes. A lot of times, I think they're good actors. Are the ones that can tell the story just with their eyes. That's
just
it.
through their
Yep.
eyes.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree with that.
Exactly it.
Like when what was Kane's buddy who was CEO with Red Rock for a while? What was his name?
His name was actually Logan.
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 Oh, that's
Logan
right.
Kim.
Yeah, Logan Kim.
Right.
I knew his last name, but I couldn't remember his first name. That's why, because I disassociate him with Logan very, very completely. So I couldn't remember his name was Logan. But when now I'm trying to call Conrad Logan, but when Conrad got he got the attending for residents. Remember when he got the promotion and he put on the white coat and he's like, yeah. And then almost instantly it was when he was trying to get in his office and Logan Kim had locked him out. And he let Logan Kim let him go through this whole process of celebrating with his team, of getting the title, of getting the name on the door, and then switching it that day, just letting him go through it all to think everything was fine, to think he pulled one over on Red Rock. And then Logan Kim had it taken out, escorted out. And one, you can tell a good man by the amount of people who defend you when you're in trouble. And that was Irving. We need to do a podcast on Irving because I love he does
him.
not get enough
Yeah.
airtime at all. I
Agree.
love
I
his
agree.
character. But Irving was like one of the first people to be like, they're firing Conrad. They can't do this. They can't do that. And then you got Devin come at him, and you got all the other residents are just ticked off that he just got fired. It was Conrad who was like, guys, don't. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. And you know when Conrad says that so calmly, someone's about to die metaphorically.
Pretty much.
you knew. But when he left with Red Rock, I mean, you actually saw for the first time though, like you see him go through the elation to the you're dead, you're gonna die, I'm gonna take you out, to when he's outside. Remember when it was another nonverbal thing, but they kind of zoomed in on him like flexing and unflexing his hands as he walked out of the building, and like he kept taking deep breaths. And so you actually saw Conrad afraid for the first time, but that fear almost made him seem like a better character, like a stronger character, that this had happened. And it's almost like he thought and he did for a little while. It took AJ and Bell going up to him and saying, hey, we can't crack this case, to give him his mojo back.
Yeah.
But I mean, at first he was like, I'll be fine. And then he remember every time he would go to his whiteboard in his house and cross off another hospital name, another hospital name.
Yeah.
And then of course there's the weird but endearing aspect of his personality that he really wanted chickens.
I love that.
I know.
I remember when Nick got the house or whatever. I mean, I was sitting there thinking, you better have gotten that man his chickens. And then sure enough, he did. I was like,
She walks in from KFC. Here you go.
I was pretty upset with Nick for a little while, and I was like, look, if I'm gonna forgive you, the man deserves his chickens.
Why were you
Yeah,
upset with
so we were
Nick?
okay. I don't even remember. Honestly, I may get hate for this. I think Conrad's too good for her. I don't think she loves him the way that he should.
Oh, I'd agree with that.
So
I don't think he's too good for her, but I don't think she loves him the way he loves
yeah,
her.
then maybe that's more. I think he loves her a whole lot more than she loves him, or differently. I don't know.
Oh man,
But
here
I
we go.
think-
Gilmore Girls
I'm
all over
fine with-
again.
But I think
I'm on board with
No.
it now. But it wasn't until really the chickens. I mean, till not that moment that did it, but like right around that time frame that I finally was like, okay, I'm on board with them.
No.
I think you'll be really hard to find someone who is as passionate about his
I
feelings
know.
as Conrad is. But it's weird because it's not very overt. But like when you're his friend, or you're someone he cares about, like he is so passionate about you. Even in friendships, he's so passionate about you.
Yeah.
And I think that what he gravitates towards in Nick is that Nick fights for justice above all else, or Conrad he does fight for justice, but he fights for those he loves
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
he actually ends up loving one way or another all of his patients. So I think that's why he gravitates, because those are both such pure things.
Yeah.
And it's weird to call Conrad pure when one of our first instances with him was trying to kill a patient. But even in that,
He
it
is
was because
though.
he loved that patient and he knew that their life was going to be nothing.
Yeah.
Still not his call, but the look on Nick's face when she walked in the room and after he had turned off the machine, and then he just slowly flipped it back on while she watched him. He is a really good facial actor, though.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want about the other characters he plays, even if they're amazing and great and nothing better than them.
There's nothing bad to say about him.
No,
No.
about any of his characters, but his expressions tell more stories than than the dialogue he's given does.
Yeah. No, he's a great actor.
Mhm.
I don't think no one can deny that.
Mm-mm.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Amanda, it looked to me like you were just going like this at something. Were you just going at something? Is that what you were doing? What are you staring at over there?
Picture of Conrad.
I was gonna say, do you have a
That's
picture on
exactly
that?
what
Pull
Conrad
that.
right now.
What is it? Your water bottle's looking away.
There it is.
It is.
Is that Conrad's back?
Yep. That'll do it.
I see. I couldn't recognize that just from seeing it. I don't remember back.
You didn't
looking
recognize the
pic-
tattoo? I did.
No.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't even know what the tattoo says. What does it say?
Death before dishonor.
Honor. Yeah.
That's
that's-
Marine thing, isn't it?
That's Conrad there.
I
Yeah.
think it's from
Army.
the military.
Army. I'm sorry. There's
Yeah.
some people that will probably hurt me
Marines
right
are don't tread on me.
Yeah.
That's more a Marine thing.
now. I apologize to the Army and the Marines.
Take down the picture of Conrad, Amanda.
I was gonna say I was watching her fan herself, but
Did
now
you-
I know why.
Did you
know?
see
She's
her
been-
pop up and do this?
I didn't see that part, but I've been seeing her like this. It's because she's been looking at Conrad's back this whole time. No wonder. She's gonna have a
There's
hot
different pictures in here. Okay.
They're all
No.
Conrad.
His search and rescue pictures, shirtless pictures. I
That
don't
was
know
an
what
intense
site
episode,
I
though.
ended up on.
The search and rescue one where he went to go rescue his friend on that mountain and he didn't know where his friend was. That
Oh
was
yeah,
a good episode.
That
was
was
a
a
good one.
great episode.
that was early on, like season 2, I think.
Uh-uh.
No.
He was married to Nick. It was last
Was it?
year, I think.
I think it was this current season.
Mhm.
Oh.
I mean,
It's
he's
probably
done other
because he
search
does
and
stuff
rescue
like
things,
that
but
all
the
the
one that I'm talking about happened this past year.
Oh. I think
'Cause-
I'm thinking of the the homophobic guy, whatever, attacked by his friends. That was in season 2.
I don't remember that. I do need to do a rewatch, apparently. I don't remember that. Because when you say that, the first thing I think of is the other one from this season with the parents
Like
who didn't want their.
I'm trying to think. I'm just staring at the picture right now, trying to
That's
jog
not
my
gonna
memory
help
how
you think.
exactly it went down. It was like they were looking for like an injured young man, and apparently he had gotten attacked by like a
I-
homophobic group.
I kind of remember that, but not clearly.
That one
Like,
always I don't remember yours, Maureen, but that one sticks in my head.
I don't remember that at all. The one I'm talking about is when his friend got lost on the mountain
mhm.
and he was supposed to meet Conrad.
I remember that one now.
Yeah, and then Conrad had to go and find him with this. That's the one that we have. There's
Yeah,
some pictures
okay.
and edits that we did.
It's
where
coming
he's in
back.
that vest from this year and he's on the phone. I like the fact too that there's a picture I found of him. You know how he used to ride his bike
Mhm.
and he'd
Yeah.
come into work all sweaty when he's wearing like the world's dorkiest bike helmet.
Yeah.
I don't use that
Safety
picture for
first.
any edits because it's one of those that has like the really long visor out the front. Like, dude, come on.
Guess what birthday edit you're getting this year?
Yes. That I said I didn't like it. I meant I love it.
Bike helmet Conrad coming your way.
The best Conrad there is. It's all make like a April Nardini's bike helmet.
That's
and-
exactly what it looks like. April Martinez bike helmet.
They shop at the same
Pink.
stores.
Just has to be pink. It's the same thing.
Yeah, there you go.
I love when Luke's like, "What the hell is that? A bike helmet?" Oh, Gilmore Girls has been brought up a lot tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, they kind of go scene and scene hand in hand.
Right. So I'm gonna bring up, unless one of you ladies wants to talk about or any of you, Josh is not lady. Just so
He's
No
used to us now. He just answers to anything.
Does someone want to go through the favorite scenes? There's 2 others.
What do you mean?
From the members. Shelby took the screenshots and sent them to us of the favorite
Oh,
scenes.
yeah, me. I have those.
Okay, go ahead.
That's me. Hi.
Hi, my name's Amanda.
Hi.
I like to be spacey and look at Conrad.
That's me tonight. I've
Hi, Amanda. Welcome.
I've
to
had
the
a lot
group.
going on.
She deserves it.
All right. Which one have you already read?
I only read the middle one
Okay, that's what I
about Lily.
thought. All right, we have I like it very much, Conrad, especially when he shares the story about his past, whether it's with his father or mother or when he was in the army. Another character I appreciate is Mina. She's awesome. But
That was from Elodie Morant.
thank you.
I figured it was another facade, so I'd help you out.
Yeah.
I agree too. I like it when he does share his past with his dad and his mom, because
Yeah.
obviously that had to be shared for why do you hate your dad so much?
Yeah. And I think really because like other medical shows, like you see their home life and their,
Mhm.
their other activities. And then the resident, it's just mainly based in the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you only kind of, like I always say, I always like those outside scenes because you don't get to really see them very often. But whenever you get to see the past, it lets you in a little bit more
Mhm.
to help you understand Conrad and why he is the way he is.
Mhm.
So I agree with that.
Yeah,
I
I
like
think
those scenes too.
that's a great way to put it, to understand why Conrad is the way he is. Because I mean, it's his family life is one of the reasons he went into the military. And his dad is a big reason why he fights all the big bads. And his mom is who he's fighting for in all of those patients.
Yep.
So I mean, that is why he is the way he is.
Mm-hmm. And we also have a comment from Michelle. And it says, one of my favorite scenes is in season 1 when Conrad tells Devin that being a doctor is the hardest yet best thing ever.
Mhm.
That's one of his most popular lines in the show, and I love it.
Although my favorite line is, "You do what I say, no questions asked."
Of
In that
course.
episode, Devin asked the questions like, "What was my first rule?"
And you give me and Jeanette heck about fawning over the bad boys here.
Conrad's not bad though.
Mm.
He's not sadistic. He's not masochistic.
That's the difference.
not
We
a
like
psychopath.
sadistic.
True.
All right.
But I like Conrad too. I don't know if I
Conrad is
really,
just a fighter. He's not bad. He's just a
I
fighter.
have no
Yeah.
prejudice.
He's a rule breaker, though.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you're bad. He's fighting the system that's corrupt.
That's true.
Makes him the hero.
I
But
mean, I
he's
like
a
him
hero.
too. You don't have to argue.
He's
it,
also a
just
bad
saying.
boy.
No, he's a maverick. He's not a bad boy. He's a maverick.
A maverick. That's a good word.
That's actually
like
a
that.
good word to describe him. Yeah.
I
I
know.
like Maverick. Oh, okay. Everybody stop agreeing with her. She's getting big head again.
Hey,
Marines
it hasn't
modesty.
happened in a while.
Cruel Summer went away and her ego went down.
I need a boost.
Don't worry, Cruel Summer will be back.
And then I'll go back to being right 2% of the time.
Okay, so that was all the comments that we got off the page.
What else is there about Conrad? I think what is your favorite friendship of his?
Ooh, Devin.
Really?
I think that they kind of balance each other out a little bit. I think everything what we've been saying in this episode. They don't always see eye to eye, but sometimes that's almost like they're able to bring each side
Mhm.
to the table in a situation.
Yeah, I agree.
So what is your favorite friendship of Conrad's?
Oh, friendship with Conrad? Oh gosh. You know what's funny? Him and Devin are kind of like frenemies for a little bit, and then they're back again, and then they're, I think that's my favorite friendship between the two. Like there's a point there where it was almost like I thought one was gonna kill the other, but
Yeah.
I think they balance
I
each
mean,
other out.
yeah.
They challenge each other.
Yeah, they really do. And so that I think is my favorite.
I'm the only one who's not a who's Devin and Conrad.
Who are you, Irving?
I do love Irving, but I just like Irving as Irving. I don't need to be with anybody else to love Irving. I like AJ and Conrad is my favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I
They
think that
my
they
favorite.
challenge each other.
Yeah.
And I
I
think
agree.
that AJ is someone who Conrad respects enough to listen to equally. And I think he's getting there with Devin. But see, I had the issue that none of you guys had of I didn't like Devin for the first couple seasons. He annoyed me.
Yeah. He was kind of annoying a little bit towards the beginning there. Yeah, I will absolutely agree with that.
It's because he went against Conrad so many times when Conrad
Yeah.
was fighting the man, and it part of it is because Devin was taught this is how you have to obey these rules no matter what. This is your standby. This is your Bible. You got to stand by this. Can't go against it ever. And Devin didn't go against it ever. It was only after he started with Julia. Right? That's her name.
Julian.
Julian. When she started to show him that what appears to be good is not always good.
Yeah.
And then they started to find that. So it was around season 3 when I started to like Devin a little bit. But when he had a stint in internal medicine, he was back to annoying me again. And so it was like, I wish that you could be a little more loose with your rules, because I don't think that Conrad challenges him to break that. I think Conrad challenges him to dig his heels in and think outside the box. But I don't think that Devin challenges Conrad in the same way that AJ does.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a
Yeah.
it's not a one-sided
understand
friendship, but
that.
it's a one-sided challenging. And I think I like watching AJ and Conrad work together. Iron sharpens iron, and those two are like that. I like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Another, like, I wouldn't call it like a favorite friendship, but a relationship that I think has grown a whole lot and that I've enjoyed watching is his relationship with Belle. Because if you think about where it started in the beginning and where they are now, I mean, it's definitely made so much progress. And I think that Belle, really respects him now, and probably vice versa. So
those are the two I was debating between, was AJ and Conrad and Belle and Conrad.
Yeah.
Because Conrad now will almost look to Conrad, Belle will almost look to Conrad first. Like, what do you think? It's almost like that's his right-hand man. And there's been a couple times when Conrad was taking something to the mat and nobody else was really standing in his corner except for Belle. And I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
Hey, no one has had more issues with this kid than I have.
Yeah.
Do what he says.
I really feel like, I don't want to say like Belle is, broken, but it's kind of like that. I guess he has like a respect for Conrad now differently than he does with anybody else, because I guess I really feel like Belle doesn't feel like he's got any power over Conrad. You know what I mean? It's just kind of that way now, where it's just like, okay, well, he not like oh, well, he's just gonna do whatever he wants to do, but no, it's like almost like a respect in some sort of way. It's just like, okay, you know what, he's probably got it figured out, and that kind of thing.
And plus, all the things that Conrad fought against are the same things that hurt Belle.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think through that, Belle was kind of starting to pick up on the fact that, okay, well, I don't like how you do things. You're usually right. And I think it takes some great humility to admit that. And that's another relationship where I don't think Belle, and that was why I picked AJ over Belle, because I don't think Belle challenges Conrad in the same way that Conrad challenges Belle. Because they're two different things. What Conrad challenges Belle to do, because Conrad has done surgeries, right? In the field and in that triage one where everything went out, Conrad jumped right into that surgery. Belle doesn't really jump into the kind of medicine that Conrad does very often. He tries, but he doesn't have the ability because he's a surgeon. He's needed in surgery all the time. And I think that Conrad challenges Belle to think differently than he would normally think. The way that Belle had been trained Belle had been a surgeon for years and decades. He has been trained a specific way. And then in comes Conrad, who doesn't think about things normally. as Hall the Dr. Zeus. So Conrad challenges Bell to think outside his box and challenges Bell to look at things creatively rather than, well, the paper says this is what this is what this is. And that's kind of where Devin was. And Devin, but in this past season, Devin started to break away from that a lot more. I think if we would have been given a full season for season 4, it would have been so fun to watch how Devin got from where he was in the beginning of the season to where he is now.
Very true.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see that, but you could see by the end of the season, he was more on Conrad's side.
Yeah.
Coming around to, and not that I need everyone to do things the way Conrad does, but people need to, it can't be denied that Conrad knows what he's talking about. And
Yeah.
his methods might not be correct, but his gut is almost always right. And for you to dig your heels in just because the corporation says so, which is how Devin was in the first couple of seasons. I did not like that. That annoyed the crap out of me.
Yeah, but when
He
he
was
stuck
brand
up
new
for,
though.
yeah, that's true. When he
You
stuck
know.
up for Conrad, you know, when they were being cross-examined, I mean, that
Yeah.
was, you know, that really showed, you know, that
Yeah.
character improvement there too, and that level of trust. I
Mhm.
guess it goes back into the, you know, the more friend part of the frenemies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
I think season 3 was when I started to like him because that was right after
Yeah.
Julian. Because I
Yeah.
think season 1 big bad was Lane Hunter, season 2 big bad was Quavaris, season 3 big bad was Red Rock, and season 4 was partially Red Rock, but also starting to become Big Pharma. They didn't really have a good solid big bad in season 4.
No.
So with after Quavaris, Devin started to see, oh wait, things aren't so black and white. Things are a little more gray. And that's when I started to like Devin, was in season 3.
Yeah.
And that's when he would fight. And that's even in season 3, that was when Logan Kim fired Conrad, and Devin was he was the second person to voice that this is not okay. You can't do this.
Right.
Yep.
But also what I like about AJ and him is that AJ is watchful like Conrad, and Conrad always, and that's his military training. Conrad's always watching the room. He's always aware of who's in there and who's doing what and why they're doing it. And AJ does the same thing when he walks inside a room. He's watching everything. And I think Devin is more reactionary than, okay, well, let's stop and let's think about this for a minute.
Yeah.
But there was a scene in season 4, it was with Nick, and Conrad was like, I think her hemoglobins were dropping or something. He's like, and I can't figure out why, and I don't know why this is happening. And Devin got in his face and he said, listen, think about the problem. And it was the first time I'd ever seen Devin force Conrad to look outside the box season.
Wow.
And that was a really cool scene for me when Devin didn't give him any answers. Devin didn't have answers, but Devin knew exactly how to push Conrad to get him to dig deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a very, very significant moment between Devin and Conrad, you know, and I think with their characters and the development of not only their relationship, but of their characters in and of itself, you know, that's definitely a significant scene.
Yeah. Who was your favorite big bad that Conrad fought against? Not favorite in like, ooh, I like these bad people, but favorite as in how Conrad handled them and how Conrad sort of took them out or worked to take them out.
For me, it's Hodad for sure,
Yeah.
because it's kind of like one of those things. It's just, he really was an enemy of a lot of people, but I really feel like the way they took him out was like best case scenario. You know what I mean? It's like, we've seen more dramatic stuff. I mean, you know, Hunter getting shot, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But this was just like an epic arc. And to say Conrad didn't have any part in that would be wrong. I mean, that was, I think his progression and his evolution was a lot to do with the way the rest of the hospital was running and what Conrad was doing, and
Absolutely.
you know, leading by that example. So I think that was pretty cool.
And Conrad held him to the title that his status required.
Yep, exactly.
Conrad was not shy about telling Bell when he was screwing up and how he was screwing up and exactly what Conrad was going to do about it. That was fun to watch.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I didn't think of that, but I would probably have to agree with Josh. I think so too. And Hodad in general, I just love a good redemption story.
Mhm.
And it's so
Yeah.
cool to see that, because season 1, you're waiting for him to meet what he deserves, the way Lane met what she deserved. And you're thinking like, okay, they're gonna put on the back burner, and you're just waiting, and then next thing you know, he's such this endearing part of the cast that you're suddenly
He's one of my favorite characters
He's like
right
one of
now.
your favorites. Yeah.
Yes, and I
Mhm.
love that, because what better way to take down the bad guy than from within? It's
Mhm.
an amazing redemption story to now in this season you're cheering for him because he's Grandpa Hodad, and season 1 you never would have thought that you'd ever want anything kind for him.
I don't think he appreciates that nickname anymore.
Yeah, probably not. But
Yeah,
he's still gonna keep it. So
I was gonna say
yeah.
it's forever
He
his
doesn't have a
nickname
choice.
now. So
I do. Belle he's right up there with one of, if like, my top 3, I think, favorite characters.
Yeah, I like him a
Mhm.
lot.
I just
It's
love
hard
the
to pick a favorite on the
development.
show because I
It
just basically
changes a
love
lot.
everyone. I mean,
Yeah.
so it's hard to.
I agree.
But I think how season arcs go too, they change a lot.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Conrad is always in that one spot for me though. Even if he's a little boring, but
he
Uh,
dropped for me.
we're
just
not
this
discussing that,
last
Jeanette. We're not
But
discussing
he'll
how
come
he
back.
dropped.
He'll come back. I promise. He's still number 2. I mean, Devin just jumped ahead just a little bit.
Conrad
Oh,
is
yeah.
second to no one, Jeanette.
Sorry.
No
Devin's
one puts
first for me,
Conrad in
too.
the
But is he
corner.
second to Logan Huntsberger? No, I'm just kidding.
No, he's not.
Whoa. Okay, cool.
No,
I can
Conrad's
totally
better than
appreciate
Logan.
that.
Mhm.
I agree
Conrad
with
is
that.
better than
Yeah,
Logan.
Conrad's
Yes,
got more
I
fight.
see
He's a little more
Conrad
forceful.
all the way, but
Yeah.
I'm not.
See both of those. I
We're not
mean,
discussing Logan Huntsberger with you two.
All right.
Oh, favorite big bad. Did everyone answer that? No, Amanda and Jeanette and I didn't answer that.
I mean, I agree with the Hodad, but I think the storyline I enjoyed the most was how do you say it? Quavaris? Is
Quavaris.
it? Yeah, I think I enjoyed that storyline probably
Mhm.
more than any of the others.
That one was really intense.
Yeah.
Like,
that was my favorite too.
I know that guy who played, I don't remember the villain's name, but he was on Psych as a lovable, goony little lawyer.
Yes.
And then I
That's
saw
how
him as
I
the
know
bad
him.
guy.
That's
I'm
why
like,
that's my
"Oh."
favorite.
I
You know,
like
like
him.
him.
Different role.
when you said that was intense, and then the image that came to my mind was like the the gunfight and the diving and everything. I was like, yeah, that was intense.
And he played such a good slimy character.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He did such a good job playing the big bad. And because
Yeah.
Logan Kim,
Mhm.
Logan Kim was sort of sniveling.
The whole Red Rocks thing was really annoying. I mean, I know it was the
Yeah,
big bad.
I
it's
agree with
meant to get
that.
under your skin,
I
but it
didn't-
really got under my skin.
Yeah, I didn't.
I didn't
love
like it.
Well,
I
and you should have known that it was going to be really, really bad, because like they first introduced him and it was like, what was it? This ice bar, like everything was made out of ice or whatever like that. It's like,
It's very
this is a
condescending.
super villain's lair.
Yeah.
Goddess.
Super villain's lair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
And-
better.
Yeah.
And he did a really good job convincing not everybody, because Conrad and Devin were kind of not on board with it. And AJ did not appreciate him at all. I like when AJ's like, what is this in my OR? It was like the wrong size screw or something.
Yeah.
But he did a really good job of convincing the general masses of how pure his goal was and how pure his mission was. Even Julian.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely bought into it. That's what she fought so hard. And she didn't fight for it because she was bad. She fought so hard for it because she truly believed in the
Yeah.
benefit of these products.
Right.
And then when she started to dig deeper, like, oh, what did I just do here?
Yeah.
So I do like the Quavada storyline, but Red Rock was annoying. I'll agree with you. By the end of season 3, I was like, can we just be done with this nonsense, please?
I agree.
I was so tired of it. It just seemed like such a, I don't know, boring, because a lot of stuff happened during there, especially with Conrad and how Conrad fought.
Mhm.
But it was just felt, I don't know, maybe
It was
overdone,
drug out.
overplayed.
I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It felt very long. Like it was just never gonna stop.
It was tedious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yes,
was. It was
that's
really
the
tedious.
word. Tedious.
I think that as of right now, my favorite big bad is Quavadas,
Yeah.
but I think it's going to be Big Pharma.
I think that'll be good.
I think next season's gonna be fantastic.
Mhm. I'm so excited for next season. So, Amanda, did you say your favorite big bad for Conrad to fight? Was it Quavadas?
It was, yeah.
Okay. So we've talked about his relationships, obviously with Nick, and I think we covered enough about his dad.
Yeah.
I do like that evolution of that. That was fun
Oh,
for me to
yeah.
see.
I love that.
I
Again,
love-
it's another redemption story.
That was how he stuck it to
Exactly.
Belle the first time. He's like, meet
Mhm.
your new chief of the board, my dad. Belle was like, what?
He just bought
That was
off.
amazing, though.
It
Yeah.
was.
that was fun.
And that was
Very
before
fun.
Conrad and Marcia were fully mended.
Yeah.
And Marcia was still trying to earn his son's trust back. And then, of course, there was with Red Rock when Conrad met his dad in the back of a car. they were talking about how to get Red Rock out of the picture. I actually kind of like how Conrad fought Kane.
Mhm.
I really did. I liked that fight. And Conrad was giving him no quarter. You get no quarter in my hospital. But Kane was so arrogant and so he didn't get what he deserved.
I know, that
Upsets me
was
a little bit.
That was the
Yeah.
biggest tease ever. Yeah, I mean,
I
we all
know.
thought it was going one way, but
Yeah, you can't. It's
hard.
not a Belle story. There wasn't enough time for redemption there.
Right. If they're
Well,
wanting
I
to do
think
that
it'll
again,
go
they're
there.
not there yet.
Yeah.
But
I think
Yeah,
it'll
if-
go there.
Well, I don't know. Maybe if we got a whole season, we would have been able
Yeah.
to see that.
It
And
was
I
just
think
rushed.
I think season 4
Right.
is going to mess up everyone's perception of all these characters because I think that they intended to do so much more, but they obviously couldn't.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost
So-
like we just got to use our imaginations
Yeah.
to get there. I
Because
think.
with Kane, that's such an improbable storyline. It's not even like,
absolutely.
really all this stuff happened
Right.
to you. Now you're performing surgeries perfectly again. Come on now.
Neuro
Yeah.
surgery perfectly again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
yeah.
So I think we would have seen more had we had a full year, but I don't know. I think that I hope Rose becomes like another Conrad who
Yeah.
like pushes Kane to
Right.
be better, or Billy, I hope. And that's why I like
Mhm.
Billy. I
Mhm.
didn't at first because she was getting in the way of Nick and Conrad, but I like Billy because she's a lot like Conrad.
Yeah.
And working
Yeah.
where she worked for that time is not the equivalent because it wasn't military, but it was the equivalent of Conrad going in the military in combat. She was doing hospitals on the ground in third world countries. So I mean, there was guerrilla fighting, there was stuff like that. So I think she's going to be a really good asset. I think her and Conrad together next season are really going to take on some really big bads.
Yeah, I can see
Agree.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So what
Yeah, I
is
can
your hope for
definitely see
Conrad
that.
for next season,
I
which is coming up soon?
mean, I just hope we get to go back to like exciting Maverick Conrad that we didn't
I
get to
think
see a
so.
lot of.
He is.
He used
He
his
is-
quiet voice in the last episode. I think he's
Yeah.
coming
He's-
back.
And I am
Definitely
excited to
gonna
see him as a
kick butt.
dad.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since, like I said, one of my favorite storylines is, him with those kids. He's really good with kids. And so I think it'll be interesting to see.
It's going to be really fun to watch his protective side come out in that too.
Mhm. Especially because he's got a daughter
Oh
too.
boy.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a daughter. Yep.
I mean, I know my husband with his girls, and it changes you,
We have 3 girls, and that is my husband.
Mhm.
I was gonna say that's what I'm looking forward to most. I mean, to see Conrad as a dad, and as a husband and father, as you see him as a husband to Nick, but now you get to see him as husband and father,
Mhm.
and just to see how overprotective he is with all of his patients and everything. You can't even imagine how he's gonna be now that he has his full family and
Yeah.
his little girl.
Right.
So that it's gonna be exciting to see him, and I think that's also gonna help him. As a doctor as well, because like you said, it does change someone. So, but I think it's going to change him for the better. So I think it's just going to kind of ignite Conrad, it's just going to bring him to the next level. He's good, he's husband, father, doctor. And I think it's just going to really help him excel. So
Yeah.
that's going to be cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interim CEO or something like that. Can you imagine him being in charge of the whole
No, Kit's
hospital?
got to be the CEO.
No, I know. That's why I said interim. Like
Where's
she's
Kit
off on
going? Why does he have to be
vacation or something.
interim?
Maybe she's
Why are you
going
killing her
to
off, Josh?
Hawaii or
I'm not killing her
something.
out. She's just going on, a Tahiti vacation.
She
or
went to
something like that.
go. She went to go visit. She went to go visit her daughter and her family. And
Kit and Boss going on vacation. That's hilarious.
Josh is like Tahiti. I
I think Conrad is almost better when he's not in charge. because I think when he is in charge, he's got too much red tape to go around, and I don't think he likes that. I like him in charge of the residents.
Mhm.
Right.
I can't see him as like a paperwork guy, like trying to have to do administrative stuff. So
No, he's better hands-on.
Especially when it comes to covering that bottom line.
right.
Yeah, but come on.
They would go so far in debt so fast.
True.
I can just see him though, in the office with a stack of paperwork, kids in the corner. Somehow a chicken got to the hospital too. It's like,
That's sanitary.
yeah,
He's got a little coop in his office.
exactly.
I bring all my babies to work.
The chicken's there.
In the tornado episode, didn't he say to Nick and the chickens? And she was like, "They're fine. They're fine."
Oh.
Yeah. He was worried about him.
Oh, I remember that.
That tornado episode was another one where his protective side came out because he threw his body in front of everything so that Nick didn't touch Nick at all.
Yeah. I love that. I really like that epispisode.
And he would do that for anybody too.
Right.
Without even a second hesitation. Didn't even matter that it was Nick. I mean, it made it more important, but he would have done that for anybody.
He would have done it for anyone.
Amanda, what do you hope for Conrad next season?
Really, I just want to see him being a dad. And I really want to see his determined side again. I want to see him kick butt,
Yeah.
go against the man.
And I think that Conrad, when he doesn't have someone to fight against, he almost, I don't think he feels right. Like, I feel like it's, the idle hands of the devil's plaything, like that, that kind of concept. I think that's kind of how, I think for Conrad to feel like he's actually doing something important, he has to be fighting something.
That goes back to military Conrad. He's got to be on mission,
Yeah. I think that is a great deal of who Conrad is and how he's been shaped. So that's my hope for next season too, is though I want to watch him fight Big Pharma. I really hope it's Big Pharma. It's one we haven't tackled yet. It's kind of in line with who that guy sold out to. And boy, did he sell out fast. But I think the way that Conrad got in his face, and he did his slow walk over to him too. It wasn't like I'm in your face. It was a very determined, well, I'm going to stare you down. I'm going to saunter in your general direction. And then I'm going to speak to you through my teeth and you're going to know how mad I am. And so I hope that we get a lot more of that Conrad to come out. And I think that's one that Nick is drawn to too. And I think maybe that will make them less boring.
Yeah.
Nick
but it was nice to see them have a breather though, because so often
did they though?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe it wasn't a breather. But it
wasn't
nice.
Nick stabbed in the stomach, Bethany?
Yeah, you know what? That was not a breather. You're so right. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they didn't get a breather. I think what I'm trying to say is that, obviously there was a lot of ups and downs, but a lot of times when you finally have the resolution of the two main characters, finally getting married, finally having a kid, usually that's when the show wraps up. Like, okay, everybody got what they've been waiting for and it's over. So I think the cool part of that is that this was the moment where we actually got to see them right off into the sunset, but that it didn't end. Like we actually got to see what happened next. The story is still going on, the series is going on, and it's just another phase of the characters of the series. So maybe not a breather, but you got to see like the completion or the resolution. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but you got to see
What they were fighting was medicine. It wasn't like they were fighting a corporation or corruption. It was just how medicine worked.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, I hate the word boring, but I mean, I agree with you because it's like there's a scene where they're sitting on the couch, right? It's just Nick and Conrad, and they're talking, and it just felt so awkward. You know what I mean?
Like, why are they not fighting bad guys?
I'm not. This isn't the show I watch. It just didn't fit in. It felt.
Was it when he was painting her toenails? Because I hated that scene. It just felt so weird.
Yeah.
That's what I was referring to, of like seeing the other side of the sunset. Like you're riding off into the sunset. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Sorry. Don't drink and talk at the same time. Sorry. But you're riding off into the sunset, yet you kind of get that moment of that was it. We're sitting on the couch, we're just having normal life, but then that was just for one moment, and now things are going to get crazy again, and you're back in their world where they're fighting the bad guys and there's drama.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind watching him paint his daughter's toenails, but painting Nick's
Yes!
is weird.
David painted my toes when I was pregnant because I couldn't reach them, but it's just to see it on screen is strange.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Should have just
And I
painted
don't-
the house.
I
Yeah.
don't I don't think it was weird because it's a weird thing to do. I think it was weird because it was Conrad and Nick.
Right.
It's just, yeah.
It just
That's not sitting on the couch. It's just not their relationship. You know,
Not what
they're
they
not
are.
that kind of people.
yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
That's what I mean. You don't get to see too much of them outside of the hospital. So when they do show things
Maybe that's what it is.
like that,
It's
you're
just
like,
awkward
yes,
for us,
you know,
yeah.
it is. You're not used to seeing it. It's something different.
Although I like how Nick and Conrad interact with the dads, the grandpas. outside
do
the
too.
house.
Yes. I love that.
Still, my favorite line is when Marshall's like, apparently your dad has a thing with orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's not a thing. It's just scary. I think that's my favorite Corbin Burnson moment of the show.
Absolutely.
I love that part. That made
That
me
was so good.
really laugh out loud.
All right, so we've talked every aspect of Conrad, from friends to fighting big bad to relationships, romantic and otherwise, and his life in the hospital and outside the hospital, and what we hope for the future. And I think that there's probably a lot more we could continue talking about if we want to bring up every single scene he was ever in The Resident. But since he is the resident in the show called The Resident, that would probably take a long time to do. So we're not going to do that. If there are some scenes we forgot that you guys wanted to bring up, or some aspects of his character we didn't touch on that you think, you idiots, why didn't you talk about this? Then we want to hear that too. So let us know. You can email us at familyfanclub2021@gmail.com. Join our Facebook group, which is The Resident Chastain Family Fan Club on Facebook. And we do a lot of fun things in there. So if you're not a member of that group, you probably should be anyway. We do a lot of fun things. We've got certain days where each one of us takes a topic and we'll just post stuff about it. And we do games. We do a whole bunch of creative things in there. And it's a really fun community where we all talk about The Resident. We're also on Instagram and Twitter under FB Family Fan Clubs. And we are on TikTok, same name, FB Family Fan Clubs. So those are all ways you can reach out to us to talk to us about this episode we did, or talk to us about The Resident. We are fans just like you. So if you need someone to talk to you about The Resident, that's what we're here for. So hit us on any one of those aspects and let's talk our favorite show. As long as you're pro Conrad. If you're not, get out. We don't want you. I'm just kidding. We'll take
Or
you as long as
Devin.
you don't protest.
Devin.
I'm not so concerned about that, Amanda. Not today.
I am.
Not on Conrad Hawkins Day. So on that note, I think next week we are changing it up a little bit. Watch out for a video for us coming through of how we're going to switch it up. We're going to kind of take a break here, and we're going to talk about different shows until the premiere of The Resident on September 21st. So we'll be putting our first Resident podcast out right the Sunday after that airs, I believe, because it's on a Tuesday still, right? Or is it Thursday now?
Tuesday.
All right. So our
Last thing I heard.
we might, that one will have to be recorded on a Wednesday, so that'll be on a Sunday. So that'll be our next Resident podcast. Keep an eye out for that. And on that note, we are off. We'll see you in a week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.